is Kaguya unique?
No. Alright, I'm gonna make this one quick. I thought we were already done using scales. Sitting here and arguing about the translation are pretty much useless, as the only argument is that she actually made it, which I'm going to
To sum it up, basically EJ made this video to say that Kaguya didn't create her dimensions, which he's completely wrong on.
Fourth dimensional, but does she scale to them? And the answer is yes, she can recreate her dimensions out of nothing stated in the stat book.
Alright, so just to make sure we're on the same page here, in order to actually be universal, you have to destroy or significantly affect something in a 3D finite space. A good example of something similar to this is Goku shaking the infinite void during the tournament of power.
Okay, so before I attack the Kaguya argument, let me attack your analogy real quick. If you actually watch Dragon Ball and watch when the Grand Priest was explaining what the World of Void is, he basically implied that it is a place without time or space, filled with infinite nothingness, meaning there is no temporal or spatial axes within it. So overall, it's just infinite 0D, which doesn't qualify for a universal level. Whereas Kaguya's dimensions both have space and time.
Anything close to what we consider universal, why, you might ask? Well, simple. Let's take a look at what you put here. In this guy about the Fire-Tracing Orb, it's talking about destroying the root dimension. The only thing stated inside the scan is that so destroy the root world and return to nothing. In just a reference, Kaguya's dimensions are referred to specifically by the world.
This is a very common argument, as the term used there was Sekai, which basically implies world, society, or universe. Now, as you can see from the two images shown from her dimension, we see the moons and we see stars and etc. Now, logically, a world would only be implied as another planet like Earth. And by the way, they removed the definition for world to mean universe, so don't even try looking. The implication could not be world, because if it was, then there would be no other celestial body to exist along with it. We know damn well it's not society, because there is literally no life in any of them. Therefore, the only logical answer would be them being universes. I know people are going to bring up this and say it's a mistranslation that Kaguya's dimensions are only referred to as spaces, because that's basically what the ETSO was made to destroy and reshape. But I find it funny because it being referred to as a space isn't actually the feeder to the argument, because the term space is defined as a physical universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere, technically supporting the fact that Kaguya's ETSO was going to destroy the entire dimension, aka the whole universe. And I liked how you brought up this ETSO databook scan, but when the translation for the title, it literally implies seals the power of the universe within it. And I know you're gonna say Kaguya didn't create her ETSO, but Black Zetsu legit said that she produced it. And the next thing you're gonna say is the fact that she used the chakra of all the people in the Shinobi Alliance, which really isn't a defeater to the fact that all chakra came from Kaguya herself. If she didn't scale to it, her body should have exploded or imploded or basically torn apart, just like how Madara was. Oh wait, she never suffered from any of that. So using Newton's third law, she would still scale to it.
So when we do hear dimension being used from Kaguya, she isn't talking about an alternate universe, she's simply talking about an alternate world. This week you showed that best only flash planetary. Let's be considered, as we have no real way to scale the actual size of this planet.
Watch my friend Glocks. He basically made several videos calculating every single celestial body as shown in Kaguya's dimensions. What's funny is the fact that he can even lowball to around galaxy level. And overall, EJ, your entire argumentation was just mediocre and repetitive. No, but seriously, I nearly fell asleep while doing this.
Alright, so just for an example, let's just use a comparison here. It's stated and implied that Aokiji created a continent of ice. Therefore, the most logical solution to come to is Aokiji created a continent of
EJ, do you know that that statement was called out by a father? I just want you to prove to me how that father has any knowledge of how big a continent actually is. Otherwise, it would just be a knowledge claim. As well as the fact that your argumentation would fall under an appeal to probability, because you're literally taking his word for granted, since to you, it would be the case.
Now maybe I'm overlooking something, but nothing here implies that she created a dimension right here.
It is the start of a new time space, literally at the bottom right. It literally explains the ETSO is going to destroy and recreate everything again.
Means great.
If the word assemble is there's nothing else better to go off than the fact that she assembled a dimension. It just makes sure we're on the same page. Assembling, but just putting it together, kind of like building blocks, which means she wouldn't even scale to it. And if you want to say that she actually created her dimensions, congratulations. At best, she made a few plans.
Take into account that the two kanjis at the bottom right also translate to the term create figuratively. And you clearly don't know what figurative language is, which basically is something that authors use to strive to make emotional connections to the reader. Basically, they try to stretch the actual meaning of some words for effect. Let me give you an example. Joey is riding his bike down a hill. Notice how boring that interpretation is, and if an author write that down, a reader will just get bored of the book. But here's another example. Joey rides down a mountaintop, moving so fast that his face is piercing through the wind, flies off the ramp and nails one of the best landings. If you don't get it, the second example I gave was basically the first example but in a figurative language. Whether they're interpreted differently or not, they still mean the same thing. Just like how assemble still means to create something. Also, it's physically impossible to grab spatial and temporal axes and put them together and then create a whole dimension. Therefore, the most logical conclusion is the fact that she created it out of nothing with the power of the ETSO. In the end, EJ, you were just wrong.